Hello and welcome back to Woodworking Monetized, where woodworking doesn't have to be an expensive hobby. And if you watched episode 4, which I'll link in the cards, at the end of that video I gave you a sneak peek into a project that I made a while ago with a friend of mine that was a picnic table that folded into a picnic bench. I fully intended to make this episode 5, batching out those picnic table / benches. But after I concluded that video, I went back and crunched numbers and realized that it was not feasible for this episode 5. So I had to put this project in front of it, which is 6 pallet wood wine racks. And the good part about this project is that we have minimal tools to add, plus all the wood comes from free pallet wood. So if you're interested in making these 6 pallet wood wine racks, let's go ahead and get started. This episode is brought to you by Gorilla Glue for the toughest jobs on planet Earth. Everything you see here was purchased from Amazon with the exception of the finish nails and the dowel, which I purchased at Home Depot. Each of these wine racks call for 2 side pieces that I'm cutting right here, and I'm cutting this one at 10 inches, but they can be cut anywhere from 10 to 12 inches, and then they also call for 5 cross pieces at 20 inches a piece, as well as the 2 spacers for about 1.5 inches long. Each of the 4 holes drilled out for the 4 wine glasses are 4 1/4 inch apart from each other, and measuring from one side to the other, I marked them at 3 5/8 of an inch, 7 7/8 of an inch, 12 1/8 of an inch, and 16 3/8 of an inch. Once I've started each hole with the Forstner bit, then I switch out for just a small bit and pierce through the other side, so then I can go with the back side from the Forstner bit and avoid tear out. Then here I'm using the miter saw to cut out each slot, and they're about 3/4 of an inch, maybe 7/8 of an inch wide. And here I am pre-drilling for screws, and I cannot stress enough the importance of pre-drilling, especially on pallet wood, as it is prone to splitting. Choosing which piece is going to go where for your cross pieces, it's important to use the strongest piece you have for the back top piece, as it's going to be against the wall and some studs hopefully, and it's also going to be carrying the weight of all your wine bottles and glasses. After adding glue, I am pre-drilling for counter-sunk screws, so then I can add dowel over the top and sand it down for a flush finish so you don't see the hardware. I suppose equally as important is this bottom cross piece, as it's going to be holding together both side pieces and holding the weight of all your wine. The reason each wine rack is 20 inches wide is that I've pre-drilled here, as you can see, holes that are 16 inches apart, so when it's attached to a wall it can be attached to studs in the wall, which are usually 16 inches apart. Of course, I forgot to get footage of that middle spacer piece, but after I screwed in the bottom piece, then the spacer is just clamped and glued, and then I add a few nails as well as the bottom piece which holds the wine glasses. After adding dowel to the front pieces here and cutting it off flush, go ahead and run it over with some 80 grit sandpaper on your random orbit sander. After selling all 6 wine racks at $35 each, the ongoing purse of the Woodworking Monetized channel is now $786. Thanks for watching.